Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you how to use the off-screen menu component. So let's get started. First of all, you're going to need two files. One file is the JavaScript file and the other one is the cascading stylesheets file. Both of these files are located in your production directory. So whenever you use the component, you will need these two files. Also, the component is jQuery dependent, so you're going to need the jQuery, but we can grab that from online. So let's see how to include this component into an empty website. Say, for example, that we have an empty website. This is the example. It has a doc type, HTML, head, and body. It's really just a simple design with few sections and just few headlines. So let's see how that looks. There it is. There's nothing really to it. So first of all, we're gonna add both of our stylesheet file and the JavaScript file. Since our demo site is in this directory that's called the plain site, we have to go two levels up and then into according directory to fetch the components. So we're gonna do that now. We're gonna place it inside the body. Okay, there it is. First of all, we included the stylesheet file, which is two levels up, and then into CSS directory, it's called OSM style. Then we included the jQuery dependency, which is jQuery 1.11.2, and lastly we included our own jQuery plugin that's called OSM menu. If we did everything correctly, nothing should change, right? Yeah, there it is. You see there was a slight change. That's because our style sheet actually does some kind of reset of body padding and HTML and things like that. So we still have our very plain HTML. Let's go ahead and style this a little bit so we can see better what's going on. I have a couple of style sections here that resets the body to some kind of background color and font family. Also, I styled every section, and particular sections I color in different colors. So let's just copy this style over to our document. We're going to also place it in the head. There it is. Let's see how that looks now. Okay, now this looks a little bit better, right? Every section is one page and the headline is in sans serif font. Okay, now we're ready to add our flying menu. Let's see how to do that. Well, we need to add the actual menu into the DOM, into the HTML. It is not important where we're going to add it, but we have to keep one or two rules. First rule, and the only rule basically, is to give this element particular ID. That ID is called OSM menu. It has to be this ID because it only works with this ID. So I used the nav tag, but I also could have used div tag or some other block element tag, but I used it for navigation because that's what it is for. And the only mandatory thing is to use this particular ID. Also inside of it I included the default style that I also have inside my component. I don't have to do this, so let's see. No, let's not see. Let's keep it like this. And I have a couple of headlines just showing different options. As I said, it doesn't matter where you add it. I like to add it just after the body, but you can add it basically anywhere. And to invoke the plugin, yeah, and the third thing I have here is the class that's called OSM button. I also have that class on my headings, and that is the class for which we are going to attach our event for our plugin. To make it clear, let's see how that looks. There it is. Okay, so there's the script. We have the document ready, which is jQuery way of saying do this script when the document is ready. And the only line of code basically is this. It says attach the event for this class, attach our plugin event, and use the animation OSM5. This is the option for the plugin. There are many options for the plugin. This is the basic one. You just say which animation you want to use. And this class here is the class that you use for attaching a click event. So whenever you click on this class, the animation will go back and forth. It will toggle the animation. So we added this class for both options in our menu and for the headlines in our sections. So whenever we click on these headlines, it should trigger the animation, and when we click on these options, it will trigger the animation back. So let's see if that works. Okay, section 1, section 2, we click, and there's our menu. When we click on the link, it will toggle the animation back. Now, if you want to change the animation, we change this to something different. I don't know, 25 perhaps. Yeah. And if we want to change the duration, we have option that says duration 2 seconds. And now it lasts for 2 seconds. You have many presets with the correct names also included in the document, in the help document, so you can see which animations you can use. There is around 20, I think, presets, and that's how easy it is to actually add this component to your page. Now let's see how we can add it to a different, a little bit more complicated page. We're going to go into our second directory. It's called the Bootstrap site, and see how it looks. Okay, there's the Bootstrap site. As you can see, it is responsive, and just some dummy data. We have this menu here that says test here, and we have a button. You guess we're going to use this button for invoking your plugin. Let's see how the HTML file looks. Okay, there it is. We have the Google fonts, we have Bootstrap style sheet, we have other custom style sheets, we have the HTML, and as with Bootstrap, on the bottom of the file you have your JavaScripts. First you have the jQuery, then you have the Bootstrap. Now, since this is already a made design, we have to include our component. How do we do that? Well, first of all, as we said before, we need two files. One is the stylesheet file, and the second one is the JavaScript file. This is the line that it includes the stylesheet file. It goes right after the Bootstrap. So wherever you include your Bootstrap style sheet, right after that you include our component style sheet. And since the JavaScript for the Bootstrap is included on the bottom, you have the jQuery and you have the Bootstrap here. We just add our component below that. So there it is. Now there are some scripts running around here on this page. For example, when you scroll, something happens and things like that. But what's important for us is just these few lines of code. So these few lines are invoking the plugin. As before, we are attaching it to OSM menu button class. Now let's see where we added that class. Let's go back to the top. There's the body. Now there's a div with our menu. Remember, we have to use this ID. It's OSM menu. We have to use that ID. So this div is our menu. And I also included the default style, so I don't have to style it right now. And I used the classes from Bootstrap to just give space to options. We have the main menu, about us, and blah blah blah. So what is important is that I also added OSM menu button classes for these links, because that is the class for which we are going to attach the click event on our plugin. So when you click on this option, the animation will go back. If you don't put this class here, you can just make plain links. The website just will link to wherever you want. So that's up to you. The point is, wherever you add this menu button class, that element will trigger the animation. So for example, as you can see, we have this test here. If you remember, it's this line here. So what I did is I added for this icon, I added that triggering class. So this button should trigger the animation, this one. But also I have this so-called hero image, for which I also added the menu button. So this whole picture should actually be a trigger. So wherever I click, it should trigger. Let's see. There it is. So I added it both here in this button, but I also added it on the picture. And yeah, we can also change the behavior on the bottom. So if you don't want OSM 7, we can also go to OSM 25 and change the duration to 0.6 to make it a little bit faster. And just like as before, there it is. And that's it. So for any questions, send me an email. For any problems, send me an email. This has been tested with different layouts and different styles. It works particularly well with Bootstrap. So thanks for watching.